what your study skills are like, but like there's literally no excuse to not get all of these. Okay, you got a word bank. There's 10 of them. If you're missing these, you're just not spending any amount of time either listening in class or on your own. Okay, that's 10 free points there. The other stuff, you're like, oh, Mr. Burnworth, there's no Quizlet. How am I supposed to learn? Okay, I get it, but like I've repeated these things 1,000 times. Okay, so think about like, what could I ask you on the other multiple choice? Well, some of it's going to be about things like how hormones work, like a negative feedback system. It's not a thing of me saying like you suck. That's, I'm in a bad mood. That's, I'm feeling very negative. No, it's something's missing. That hormone's going to come in and replace that. Okay. We talked about the fact that hormones are like keys, right? The receptor site matches. This is going to get me in my door at school, not my door at my house. We know that there's some on the membrane. Okay. That they're out here saying, the hormone binds with that receptor. Other hormones come in, okay, and make things happen. Membrane versus intracellular. We know that ultimately we want a cell response, whether that's so I can get adrenaline to lift a car off a baby or get a boner to make a baby, right? That's all my cell responses there, okay? We know that those membrane activate G proteins, a bunch of hormones do that. Without those G proteins, we can't get that cellular response. We know the pituitary gland's in the cell of Turcica. It does a lot of stuff. We talked a lot about this guy and this lady. There's a growth hormone that's very important inside that pituitary gland. The thyroid, yes.
What, like, is it the posterior or the anterior part of the pituitary?
So the growth hormone is in the anterior. Okay. And by the way, all these slides are on the Googles, right? It's on the Google. It's on Classroom. Okay, here's your thyroid gland. Okay, we know that will help with metabolism. Right? I need glucose for my cells. Why? So I can open doors, so I can move my muscles, so I can think. Okay, all of those things needs ATP. Okay, I also know that I need sometimes more scrubbing bubbles or less scrubbing bubbles because I need that calcium. How am I going to get that calcium? Not necessarily from my diet, right? Okay, but by scraping away this osteoclast on the bone. We also know adrenal glands sit on top of the kidney. Okay, what's it going to do? It's going to also help increase those blood glucose levels, right? And it's going to get things going so I can get ATP and do my thing. We also know that pancreas doesn't work for all of us in here. But that it's important for... Sorry, it was a horrible, cruel joke. Yeah, no, I just wanted to see. Okay, we know that that's going to help lower our insulin levels, lower our blood glucose levels, right? Wow. We also know that your liver also does store some glucose, and this hormone will help release it in times of need, like ketogenesis. Okay, then we started talking about the testes and the ovaries. Greta's all fired up because there's girls in the 8th grade that didn't know they had ovaries and didn't know their purpose, right? Did we get to this thing at all?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the female period. And again, later, if you have questions, let me know. Because, with this class, we've already talked about the pineal body because we talked about the brain and melatonin. Okay, we're going to talk later about this, but I can't resist right now, right? Because estrogen and progesterone are also important, yes.
Okay, this is a question about birth control.
Yeah.
Why do you get so emotional and like angry?
Oh, we had this good conversation. Hormones.
It is. And like, here's the thing. Like so in my history of being around women, I'm not like that. I'm all that experience, but like, I'm digging myself into a hole here.
I think you are.
Stop it. Okay, but birth control affects different people. So like what may work for you may not work for someone else. And also you're going to go through a lot of times 3, 4, 5 different birth controls to find what's right for you. Like there have been times where I'm saying this one girl this one time and she got on this birth control and literally became a different person. I was like, we have to change this because this is not working for you. Okay, like I was like, I don't even know you, right? It was like one of those things. Okay, it's a hormonal thing. Okay, progesterone. Okay, did we talk about like what you guys wear like around this day? Okay, yeah, we did. Okay, like you're ready for that ovulation. You want, okay, I mean, like ultimately, I know this is weird to think about, but as a species, there are two things that you should be doing in your life, right? And that is eating. So you say, what do you eat? So that you can make a baby, right? Maybe you don't want kids. That's awesome, right? Maybe you don't want to eat either. Okay, but but the problem is that biologically that's where we're at. Okay, so this time right here, you're like, give me the baby, and I will flaunt my thing, okay, so that I can receive what I need to make that baby.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it like I think it is, but the same like hormones and things that like a lot of people say on the shot it made their face break out, made them gain weight, made them do this, made them do that, but like it's different for everybody because
Yeah.
I didn't gain weight.
Right.
Wish I could, but I
Right.
didn't.
Right.
But like, is that the same hormone that makes you gain
Yeah,
weight, makes you want to eat everything?
I am not an expert on which birth controls have which hormones, but yes.
Well, neither
like,
is my doctor
There's a really funny
because
TikTok
she
that I
gave
wish
me
I
the
would've- I
wrong
wish I would have
dose.
saved it because it was just like it was a gynecologist talking to a woman and she was like, so let me tell you about this birth control. You're gonna end up like hating yourself, and then like we went through this list and this girl's like, right, yeah.
So when I was on the pill, it made me like really suicidal.
Oh
like,
jeez, yeah, that's bad. Get
That
off that,
got
right?
Yeah, that's
dark
really bad.
Yeah.
real
I
fast.
was on like
That's not where I thought you were going, by the way. You're like, maybe you're really fat. No, you went right to death.
yeah, it was bad. And so I got off of it. I got off of it
Yeah.
like a week.
Yeah.
Now I'm on the shot and like it doesn't even
Yeah.
it gained a little bit of weight, but
The
I
Depo?
yeah. I like didn't notice
I'm
it
sorry,
that
not laughing, but it was.
much.
Whoa, that was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was really
It's
bad.
crazy, right? Yes.
Okay, so I'm just gonna start with the story.
Okay, story time.
Because
Yeah.
the stuff going on right now, and it's making me turn out like Britney. Like I can't stop crying, and I've only been on it like 5 days.
That's
Yeah,
what
you
happens
gotta talk
whenever
to-
I get
talk
my.
to doctor about it.
Hey, whenever I get my shot,
But anyways, how does that help the cyst in my ovaries? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
I don't
Ask your
understand.
doctor.
You guys are killing me just with your
I
facial
want to
expressions.
see it, but I'm just not crying.
Oh, oh.
I ate my brownies last night.
Oh man, these are the reasons I show up right here. It's complicated. Like that's the only thing I can tell you. It's like you're gonna have to just communicate with your doctor. Okay? Like, look, this is what I have to tell you, ladies in here, especially those of you that are either gonna get on the BC at some point or on it. You've got to communicate with your physician about these things. Okay, this is like when a kid comes up to me, and this is not even comparable. Okay, but I have like 150 students. Okay, and yes, like I have their grades and I have things, but they'll come up to me and they'll say like, hey, you know, I had this many flies. Like, I'm not going to remember how many flies or what flies I gave them. Like, they have to write that stuff down. They have to communicate with me because I'm not going to remember what I gave them, what I didn't give them. Okay, even though I may have written that down, even though it might be a chart, the chart might not be complete. Talk to your physician about this. This is how this is making me feel. Even if they say, well, it shouldn't make you feel that way. Say, this is how it's making me feel. Because if you're like thinking about jumping off a bridge, right? Okay, you're crying nonstop. Yes, there is a little bit of wiggle, but it should not make
did
you
you
feel
say
that
you're
way,
on the
like,
pill or
right,
the
right.
shot?
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like after I get my shot, the first 2 weeks after that, I'm like psycho crazy.
I'm gonna wait.
Like, I cry
If
like
still
crazy.
feel like this, I mean,
Especially the first time I got it. So wait till you like get on your second pack of them,
yeah.
and it'll get a lot better. But like whenever I get my shot, and especially Colton, feel sorry for that guy, because I like scream at him because I get so angry.
I gotta stop fighting with
That's when I move into the milk house for a week. So this is where you want the baby, right? Okay, and hopefully right around day 14, that's when you're ovulating. Remember, ovulation is when the egg pops out. Now, at some point, you guys are going to go through menopause, and that means you will stop releasing the eggs. I used to think this is like one of those things, like I think a lot of us think that menopause happens when you run out of eggs. You are not going to ever run out of eggs, so to speak.
Well, you
Okay,
have like
right? You have
50
millions of eggs. What's that?
no, we only have like when we are born, we have like 50 some eggs, and then it doesn't like stop necessarily. It just really slows down.
That is nice, and I thought that too. You have millions of eggs. Millions of eggs. Millions. Yeah, yep, yeah. If you only had 50, we wouldn't have kids. Because think about it, like 12, you're losing an egg a month. And literally, ladies, you could see your egg if you know what you're looking for. Okay, now this is gonna sound graphic, but like when you're wiping, okay, if you have a little extra mucusy, you can actually physically see the egg in there. If you're right,
Oh,
but you
this
gotta
is reminding
know.
me of like laced
You
eggs
gotta
in
know,
my.
like when you're ovulating, and remind me, I forgot to tell your classes, but ladies, you should be able to feel when you ovulate like every month. Okay, so right around that day 14th, you're gonna feel pain right on your right side, and then the next month on your left side. So it should go back and forth, like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, right? You're going back and forth. You're gonna ovulate. Now it's like not like one of these things where you're like walking, you're like, no, I ovulated. It's just more like a little like, oh.
I thought that was a joke.
No, that's a real thing.
Hey, I do that sometimes. I'll be walking and I'll get a cramp and I'm like,
It's not like it's more
I
like
fall
a little.
over.
I mean, like every time I ovulate, obviously, I'm like, oh yeah. As I'm describing it to you accurately. No, like from what I understand, it's
Ow.
more of like a little like
I
just like a
hurted
little like,
myself.
oh, what was that? Like some. Yeah.
Wait. I have
It
a
comes
serious
and goes.
question.
Yeah. but hold
After
that.
Trinity.
Yes, you first.
Okay, so one of my cousins,
Yes.
she had to go to like special office, she couldn't get pregnant or whatever, and they said that they only find like 2 fertile eggs. Like, how does that work?
So yeah, so there are exceptions, right? Okay, but like there could be polycystic ovary disease. There could be a lot of different things. I don't know. I would have to know more about that.
Yeah, ovarian cancer is so bad. I've had them. They're so bad. They don't know how to fix. I had like
When okay, real quick story, and we'll get into this later. Why can't you have kids? Okay, it could be the male's fault, could be the female's fault. Okay,
Could be your fault.
that's why I'm the male. Hopefully, okay. So true story. My buddy Kel.
ooh,
and
my buddy
s-
Kel.
and
That sounds like he's
some
from the
of you may have met Kel. He came and visited me 2 years ago, and he sat in one of my classes. He sat there in the back. Yeah, this guy. And
Kel.
so they were trying to have kids. They couldn't have kids. His wife, they went in, all of her hormones were fine, her ovaries were fine. He had to give a sample. His sperm count was low. Okay, you should be in the millions, like 6 million in one, right? I don't know why I needed to do that, but I did.
I didn't see
Okay,
my eyes
there you
were
go.
closed.
Okay. I keep my mouth shut. All right. So his were like only in the thousands. They
Woo!
found out that there was this vein that was like wrapped around the vas
testes?
deferens. So like the sperm wasn't getting out. Okay. So they had to go in. Okay. He told me, he's like,
It was like building up.
he's a science guy. Nah, it doesn't build up like that. It's not like all.
Okay.
Oh God. It's like all of a sudden like a big potato now. Okay, all right. So he's telling me all this stuff. I was like, then he got this surgery. I go, man, how's your nutsack, man? Did it hurt when they cut it open? He goes, oh no, they didn't. They cut his abdomen, reached down in, pulled out his testicle, laid it on his stomach, fixed it, and then put it back.
No.
Yes.
I have a serious question. This is for you and all my ladies out there. Do you guys ever get like, and if this is normal, I might just be an alien, but like right underneath your rib cage or like right underneath your boobs, sharp pains?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what are those for? Because they be throwing me on the ground.
I'll like go to get up and it's like jab, and I'm like, ah! And then I fall over.
And then you like can't breathe.
Yeah, and then you're sitting there like, and you don't breathe because then your lungs move and then the knife moves and
Yeah.
it's
Is this
it's like underneath your ribs,
okay?
like
Yeah,
up
it's
in
like
there.
But like where? But like, so is it like the same feeling that
It's
like
literally
when
like
you're
a
running
stab.
though?
No,
and
no,
you
no,
get
no,
the-
no, no, no. That's so different.
It's
Okay,
so
it's a
much
different
worse.
pain.
It's like
It's like
With a
you
knife.
literally
Is there
do
like-
not want to move, and you're just like,
Are all you ladies feeling this pain?
yes.
I thought
It's
it was something wrong with
It's
me.
not, but it's underneath your boot.
Yeah, like up in your rib cage, like under here.
You get it on
Okay.
only one side or
One, it switches.
Yeah, mine gets on.
I swear, we're aliens.
No, I don't know. I don't know about this boot pain.
Do you get them, Abby? See,
It hurts.
This is news to me. I'm
I
gonna
asked
write
my
this-
doctor.
I'm gonna Google this at home.
I literally asked my doctor that gives me a shot in the butt every 3
Yeah,
months for
what'd
my
he
birth
say?
control, and she said that it's like she didn't give me an answer. She like nonchalantly answered my question.
It's so good.
Like, you literally can't
you don't
move.
wanna do anything. You just kind of like
You stop for like 45 seconds, and you're just like,
still, like you don't want to move.
yeah,
And then finally, if you breathe slow, it's like, oh.
yeah. You're like, no. If it's still there, you'll like let go, and then it stabs you again. You're like, hold your breath again.
When did it start?
Like a couple, like a
I had it.
like a
happen-
year ago.
I had it happen like a month ago. I was doing my makeup, and then out of nowhere, I was just like, I was like, yeah.
Anybody else pinpoint when this started for them? Do you get it? You get it?
I
It's
don't know
all
when it
girls?
started.
Guys, I'm not getting this. My guys, you get this?
It's almost like heartburn.
You get it?
Oh, and you get it? You get boob pains? He's a female.
We'll figure this out. I mean, I get the stitch, like if I'm out of shape
Yeah.
and I'm
So
running.
that times 10. That's a lot different. No,
No.
it's not heartburn.
Is it heartburn?
It's like, yeah.
This is very exciting.
No, I'm being serious. Like you can't move. You're just
can't-
there.
no, literally.
And if you move, it's like
And if
10
you
times
breathe
worse.
in, it's like.
Okay, I'm very excited.
Wow, I'm glad everybody else
I
has.
can't
I
wait
thought I
to
was
go
an
home
alien.
and type in rib cage girls boob pain. Okay, and just see what pops up. All right. Yeah, I am gonna ask
I
her
wonder
about
if
that.
she has it. Ask
I'm gonna
her.
ask her. I will. She's not here today. I'll ask
Yeah,
her.
where's she at, Mister,
She had
today?
a thing.
Oh,
All
she
right.
had a thing.
So she had a boob pain.
Oh.
All right. We've already talked about this, but inside your brain, once again, just a reminder, okay, is melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone. And if you remember, I told you this is the only hormone that's not regulated by the FDA. You can walk into CVS right now, buy a bottle of a hormone of melatonin. It's the only hormone that you can buy.
Those are my drugs.
Oh, gosh, that's bad.
So I was taking those like every single night. My mom was like, if you take too much of those, your body's gonna stop producing them. Is that true?
You'll just
I
get
don't
used to it and they
believe
won't help
that's
you
true.
anymore.
Yes.
Like you take too much of it, it'll just stop
Right.
working.
Right.
It's like
What's that?
My nephew thought they were
You can't buy that
gummy
over the
bears
Oh,
Not
and
every-
ate like 10
You
of
can buy,
them.
you can
Now
get
we
all
buy the
these
pills, not the
hormones,
gummies.
but not
He
like
was out for like
over
13
the counter.
hours.
like oxytocin, all of these
Probably the best nap
testosterone.
he will ever
you get
have.
those supplements, yeah. Not like over the counter. Okay, yeah. Like literally like nature's, like have you ever seen this body or those bottles of like vitamins? It says this has not been tested by the FDA. This is not regulated.
FBI.
Right? Yes, testosterone, growth hormone, all those things you can get, but you can't get them without a prescription.
It's not
This is the only one. It's so interesting to me. All right, the thymus. Here's kind of a sad picture. There's a dead baby. Look at the size of this thymus in the dead baby. Here's the size of my thymus. Your thymus is a little bit bigger than mine. So yours is bigger than mine, but Ira and Linus's thymus is bigger than your thymus. Okay, so it shrinks as you get older. The reason why it does that is because it's used to develop these T lymphocytes. Those are a part of your immune system. We're going to cover the immune system next.
I'm not
The
ready
immune
for a
system
nap.
is important because, of course, it's going to fight off diseases. As you get older, you already have the amount of T lymphocytes and the type of T lymphocytes. We'll talk about those later. Okay, so you don't need to develop those anymore. They're already like in me, they're already made. Okay, it still stick around, but it shrinks. Look at look at the size of that thing. Okay.
Wow.
Is that my baby?
It's huge.
They're constantly building their immune system. Like what you hear of like little kids, like that's why you should breastfeed, because that's going to give them an immune booster, right? You're taking the immune system from your mother and giving them some of that immunity to the kid. Okay, and I used to do this project. I don't do it anymore. Where
Thank you.
I gave everybody a hormone and you had to research it. There's a bunch of different ones. Okay, like gastrin secretin, we find this in the stomach. Cholecystokinin, there's some research about anorexia and a decrease in this hormone. Your kidneys produce a hormone that helps produce red blood cell production in your bones. So that's pretty crazy. And of course, the placenta, okay, is so unbelievable. And,
Just
and
wait for
the
this.
placenta is one of those things that, like, a lot of people, I don't think you realize. You know what it is, okay, but you don't. So I have
Isn't
a,
it the thing that's like super big? Like,
yeah, it's giant. So I have
What
a,
holds your baby?
yeah, I have a quick little like placenta story for you.
It's not
Okay,
quick.
so a couple years ago, hopefully it's good though.
Oh, it's good.
Okay,
I could tell the whole entire thing.
okay, all right. Well, let me tell it, and then you can see your. All right, so
Then you can see.
about 25 years ago, I was teaching anatomy, and I was also teaching by one, but I was also teaching APES, and then they talked me into doing psychology for a year, and it was really fun. But then they hired somebody that could do psychology. So that year, school had started, and I had this new student. This is like before like really good email. We didn't have Google. We didn't have like all these nice computers. Didn't have this projector. Okay, and this girl just shows up. She's sitting right where you're sitting, Scott. And she was in my anatomy class and also in my psychology class. And she was 7 months pregnant. Okay, and I was like, where did this girl come from? She's like literally showed up. She's sitting here. And so I said, hi, Ms. Verwirth. I said, who are you? She goes, I'm Jennifer Weber. I said, where are you from? She goes, I'm from Elkhart. And I don't know why. I just felt like I was going to have a connection with this person. The first thing out of my mouth was like, I hate people from Elkhart. I just want to let you know that. And then she just dead eye straight looked at me and said, I want to let you know that I hate biology teachers. And from that moment, I was like, ooh, I like this girl. Okay, so like she starts learning. I start finding out more about her story. So her story was this. She got pregnant as a sophomore, okay, did not tell anybody that she was pregnant, came to Manchester to have the baby, to give it up for adoption, and then to move back to Elkhart. She told everyone that she was in LA doing an internship with her sister who worked for the FBI. Now that part is true. Her sister did work for the FBI, but this is how crazy it got. Her sister bought a bunch of postcards from LA, sent it to her in a pack to Jennifer in Elkhart. Jennifer wrote notes to her friends, okay, sent them in a big envelope back to her sister, so her sister would put them in the mail. They would be postmarked from California. Okay, so literally no one except for her parents, the baby dad's parents, and the baby dad, of course, and then these adopted parents knew that she was pregnant. All of her friends just thought she was in California. So I'm like, this story's crazy. She came to Manchester because her brother had a friend that was a senior who lived in an apartment at Manchester College. So she stayed there for a couple months, which is, again, weird. Okay, so anyways, she's telling me all this stuff. Like over time, I was like, this is nuts. Jokingly, one day I said, hey, when you have this baby, can I have the placenta? She's like, sure. And so like, I didn't think anything about it, months go by. I knew she was due in October, but whatever. She just didn't show up for like a week. I thought, oh, she's had the baby. Okay, so anyway, I'm sitting in my apartment. At the time, I was living on the corner of Market and 2nd, kind of by the coffee shop, Keenan Ponamoka. Sitting there, probably watching some dumb thing on TV. The phone rings, like landline phone, right? And I pick up the phone and it's Jennifer, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I go, "Just watch TV. What are you doing?" She goes, "I'm having this baby. Do you want the placenta?" And I like looked at the phone, looked at the watch. I was like, "Not doing anything else." I'm like, "Sure." Okay, she's like, "You better get here quick because I don't know when this baby's coming, but it's coming fast." And I was like, "All right." So I was like, "Crap." So I grabbed this like igloo that I put my lunches in. Okay.
Mind you, he still uses that
Yeah. So
igloo
yeah.
container.
I stopped by Key Pharmacy, which was like a Hallmark store right next to Lance's, where Family Video is. There used to be Key Pharmacy. Stopped in there. I got like a gift bag for the mom and baby. You know, I got some M&Ms and some Weekly World News. You know, a toy. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay, I've never seen a baby
How
before in
old
my
were
life.
you?
I would have been probably like 28. Yeah. So what's that? Yeah.
She's
I'll
old
show you.
now.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Older.
so I like jet because it's in South Bend. She's having this baby in South Bend. So I like jet to South Bend. I've never been in that hospital before in my life. Run into the front desk and I'm like, "Where's maternity?" And they're like, "5th floor." So I'm like, "Cool." And I'm walking away and they go, "Who are you looking for?" And I go, "Jennifer Weber." And they said 502. And then as I'm walking away, they go, they go, "Good luck, Dad." And I didn't know what to say. So I just said, "Thanks." You know? So I go up, and then back in the day, like now, you can't just go like into the maternity.
Yeah.
Okay, there's like doors, and you practically have to give a DNA sample to prove that you're like related. Back then, no. I'm literally standing outside of the door, listening to this girl screaming, delivering this baby. And I've got my igloo in my little like bag. And I'm like, what am I, anyway, so finally, like these, I don't think I told you this, but like these people would come by, they're like, "Oh, you're the bio teacher, right?" I was like, "Oh yeah." They're like, "We heard about you." I was like, "Oh God." So anyways, the nurse comes out, she goes, "We're ready for you if you want to come in." I've never been in a room right after a baby's been born. It's crazy. There's blood everywhere. The baby looks like somebody beat it up, and then threw like jelly on top of it, and then I didn't also realize what I was getting myself into. I walk in, so it's the baby mom, Jennifer, the new baby right there. Okay, her mom, her brother, her brother's wife, her sister, the baby dad's parents, the baby dad's grandparents, and then also the adoptive parents are all in the room. I walk in, they're all looking at me. And then her mother, so Jennifer's mother, so the new grandma, looks at me straight in the eye and says, "What kind of sick person drives up here for a placenta?" I mean, I didn't know what to say, so I was like, "Me?" So then the nurse comes up to me and she's like, "It's illegal for you to take this. We can't allow you to take this." I was like, "Oh man, I had no idea." She's like, "But I'm gonna go over here and make sure mom's okay." I was like, "Oh." So I grabbed the igloo and I put ice in it. So then I go, "Where's the placenta?" She's like, she's trying to be cool, but then she's like, "You idiot." Okay, so and I find this Tupperware thing and it is filled to the brim with blood. Like, I mean, red arterial blood. And then there's this placenta and it's huge. Then the umbilical cord's all in there. I was like, "I just can't put this in the igloo." So I was like, "Oh, I didn't bring a sack." So I go to the trash can, steal the trash bag liner, throw the placenta in there, put it in the igloo, and then take my picture with the family. Okay, right? And then I get out. Okay, right? And so I got the placenta. You want to see it? I still have it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's in a giant like jar.
It's in a pickle jar.
Okay, now listen. Here's the bum thing about the thing. Okay, and I'll show you guys first. Okay, here's the bum thing about the thing. Okay, you could see the umbilical cord on top. But when
You're showing the lid.
Sorry. When I brought it in here, it was like one of the most beautiful things I think I've ever seen in my life. No joke. It was bright red and bright blue for the arteries and the veins. And I brought it in right where Addison is standing. And it was in that garbage, sack, that trash can liner. And there was so much blood in it. I was like, "Man, what do I do with this?" I was like, "Do I just dump it out?" And then I was like worried about blood. And then I thought, what if she has AIDS? I don't know if she has AIDS. Okay, right? I barely know this girl. And I was like, I should probably put some gloves on. That's how I got AIDS. Just kidding. Okay, so I was like, what do I do with this blood? So literally, there was somebody left their pencil back there. So I took the pencil and I jabbed it into the bag, and the blood all came out, and then there was the placenta. Okay, I wish I had like a cell phone picture. I got nothing, man. But I thought it was gonna like stay at least somewhat colorful. Would have done it. You know, like I should have known that it would look like this. But I'm telling you, man, was one of the coolest things. Now don't tell my kids this, but like, I don't know what was wrong with their placentas, but like, it wasn't as beautiful. Or maybe it's just my memory. You know, my first time seeing a placenta in my life.
I
It was
think
the
they look
most beautiful
terrible and
thing
disgusting.
I've seen in my life. It is so.
They're
it is-
huge.
Okay, so I'll bring 25, I think. Okay, so I jokingly said that I was gonna like take this to the kids' graduation party.
Oh, no.
I've not seen the kids since that day. So here's the fun thing that happened. Okay, so Jennifer, so the baby daddy and the parents after the baby got born, like went crazy and they said they wanted to keep it. So then the baby daddy outed the girl and then told all of her friends that she was pregnant and had a baby. So all of her coming to Manchester was, pointless. Except we got to meet. Now I got to present.
Okay, if you're planning on putting a baby up for adoption, why do you have that many people there?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's crazy. They were all like really invested. So anyway, so there was like a huge fight. They were like, he wanted to keep it. They're like, the adopted parents who were already there for the birth, they were like so upset. Anyways, they ended up giving it to the adopted parents.
You're not allowed to do that.
So
Yeah, you can.
yeah, so this, I don't know how it all shook out, but this girl, okay, is now, I think she's 23 now. I need to look that up. 23 or
And she
25.
lives in Indianapolis.
She lives in Indianapolis. I've never met her. I've seen a picture of her.
Like a
but I have-
recent one?
Cause yeah. So, 'cause
What's her
she-
name?
I don't remember. Hold on.
I'm about to look her up on Instagram. Yeah.
I didn't recognize you that one.
What if we like all follow her on Instagram?
So I had this like secret wish that like someday, like I'm in Indianapolis at like a restaurant
And you ran
and,
into her.
and yeah. And we get to talking somehow. She's my waitress, you know, we're having a good time and all of a sudden she's like, yeah. And then I'm like, oh my God, I have your placenta. You know, you want to see it? Come on up. We've talked, Jennifer and I have actually talked since then, not regularly. She is now so the baby mama married a woman and now is a realtor in, so if anybody needs a house in the Elkhart area, let me know. I'll
What's
hook
her
you
last
up. Jennifer Schmidt. You want to see the baby? Nobody asked for this picture. Let's see. Find that real quick. Are you stalking her on Facebook?
I can find her.
No, I'll just show you. Hold on. All right, so listen, tomorrow, don't spend as much time if you are trying to like study for this. Think about like the big idea stuff. Okay, but think also about like insulin's a pretty important thing, right?
Do you want me
Okay,
to
like
end
that's
this?
gonna lower glucose levels.
Ernest,
Okay, what's
do you
that?
want me to end this?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Or don't end it. Don't just no, sorry. Just hit stop on the